Today we're back at the ever generous Bell and Colville and we are in this gorgeous white Exige Sport 350. Now, because Lotus are the sort of company that would look at the 1170 kilo, 345 brake horsepower Exige S and think, that should be lighter and faster, they came up with this, the Exige Sport 350. It has now been supplanted with the Sport 380 that I will be doing a video on very soon. But this car is still for sale and an excellent vehicle. Now, the big headline changes between this car and this car don't come from the engine. They are identical in that regard. 345 horsepower, it is the engine from the old Evora S, 295 pound-foot of torque. They have a choice of either manual or automatic gearbox, the automatic being the traditional torque converter auto that Lotus in this generation dubs IPS. It's pretty decent, but it's no dual clutch box. My preference is, of course, for the manual. Now, the weight saving was achieved through deleting a few things Lotus felt unnecessary, and those include the rear window on the car. So this has a nice glass cover so you can see the engine, and this has the traditional slats. Opinions are divided as to which one people prefer. Other than that, they are reasonably similar. Lotus also tried to add a bit more value for money with this car by including the race pack as standard, and that was one of the most popular options for the old Exige S. And what that includes is the very sophisticated traction control system as offered on the Evora 400. So you have 4 modes: off, tour, sport and race, with the race mode being a very clever learning system that detects exactly how much traction is available on a given surface, so it applies just the right amount of power that the car can handle without getting too out of shape. It is, of course, a mighty thing on track, and it's been shaved down to a nearly 1100 kilo weight. It's about 1125, give or take. It depends what options you add. You can, of course, add quite a lot of carbon fiber to this, but if you're going to do that, I'd probably suggest buying the 380, which comes with a lot of it as standard, and of course, that extra 30 brake horsepower. The headline change in this really is the introduction of the already famous open exposed gear shifter design. The old car did get some criticism for its gear shift along with the old Evora, and Lotus took great pains to totally redesign that shift, and they've taken it from something that was okay at best to just delicious. If you've seen my video reviewing the new Elise Sport 220, you'll have seen that shifter in action already. On the inside, things are pretty much the same, but you have a slightly revised center console with this car, A, because of the gear shifter, and B, because they also used the handbrake from the Evora 400 in here. Otherwise, really, with this Exige, there's only one thing that's of any interest to anyone. That's how it goes. I have never, ever, until now, driven an Exige of any description. There's a very good reason for that. Well, let me let you into a little secret. When I was looking for a car that became the Evora, I saw these. There was quite a few of them about, and I was very tempted indeed. So tempted that I deliberately never test drove one and refused all offers to do so, simply because I knew that if I drove one of these, I would buy one. I said when I got the Evora that I wanted a car that was practical, that I could take around, that starting up the channel had enough room to store all of my kit, animate comfortably and do long distances. And I knew in my heart that was never going to be an Elise or an Exige, but on a short, enjoyable little test drive on the right roads, in the right weather, I knew I'd fall in love, and I knew I'd do something very, very silly. I would go and buy one, and then probably about a month in, I would realize that I had gone and bought the wrong car. So I never test drove one. and now I'm in one. Fortunately, I currently have no money, so I'm in not much danger of buying one, and the weather is also terrible, and there is a lot of traffic. So, until we can open the taps, you'll have to settle for these observations. Moving it around the car park, it is considerably heavier and more difficult than the Elise I just drove, which was the Sport 220. If you haven't watched the video, give it a look. On the interior front, this car is more or less exactly the same as that car, because it is more or less exactly the same as that car in many ways. In fact, the Exige really has always been something of an Elise on steroids, but in this generation, thanks to the completely new rear subframe and the engine nicked from the Evora S, it's of course become a different animal entirely. Now with the Elise, you can of course make nice and swift progress. With the supercharged cars, it's got a fair slug of mid-range torque. These, at its next level, you're looking at more than 50% more torque in a car that weighs something like 20 or 30% more. You've got another 130 horsepower in this car. Bigger tyres, bigger wheels. It's overall a more serious car. To just look at the thing on the road, they are stunning. They have ludicrous presence. It is somewhat refined, but you still know, and you are constantly reminded that you're in something very, very serious. You only need to sort of dab the throttle in basically any gear at any RPM to know that there is plenty there. You have a switchable exhaust. It's not the same exhaust that the Evora 400 and the Sport 380 have, and I think that's a good thing, because that exhaust has very, very serious problems when it comes to getting on track days. It basically is too loud. This one though has got lots and lots of character. For a factory exhaust, there's plenty of crackles and burbles and all sorts of stuff going on back there. It's really, really nice. Now the old Exige, you had to choose between the Coupe and the Roadster, and it's still more or less the same with these, but rather than trying to call it a different model, the Roadster is now basically an option pack. So you can specify any car you want as either a Coupe or a Roadster. Now you can convert from one to the other. The Roadster is missing the splitter and the wing, and Lotus say that is because with the roof removed, the aerodynamics of the car are somewhat compromised and beyond Lotus's control. So in the Roadster, the top speed is also limited to 140. How people live like that, I do not know. However, if you buy the Coupe, you get the nice splitter, you get the nice rear wing, you get of course this hard top as standard, and then basically 6 bolts, this roof will come out, and you can reasonably easily install a soft top conversion. So if you want, during the summer, you can have the topless Exige experience. And that to me is great. I really love cars where the roof comes off. That's basically one of the reasons I have the Elise. It should tell you a lot about Lotus's quality improvements in recent years that a friend of mine recently went from a Mercedes C63 to one of these, and one of the things he cited was the impressive quality of the fit and finish inside the car. The question you're really asking is it fast? Let me answer that for you. Yes. Yes, it is. In 2017, 345 horsepower no longer sounds like a lot. In fact, if you were going to release a hot hatchback and give it only 345 horsepower, a lot of people might think you are bringing a knife to a gunfight. Except, this is not a hot hatchback. Hot hatches have gotten quicker and quicker and quicker, and it could be said that there is no need to really have anything else. Well, fighting the fight for the other guys and the reason to stick with proper sports cars, the Exige really, really makes a case for itself. Only 1,125 kilos to carry around, plus today 2 large gentlemen. It's got reasonably large rear tyres, and that means that it doesn't waste too much time spinning them, it just pushes you forwards. And 345 horsepower is not a crazy power figure, it's not huge, and 295 pound-foot of torque is also, well, fairly anemic if you look at something like, say, a BMW M4 or a Merc C63. But as my friend Steve recently found out, the thing the C63 likes to do is kill tyres. It's good fun and it goes sideways very quickly and very easily and very often. But when you've got kind of bored of that and you want to just go for it and make serious progress, this is the way to do it. And because it hasn't got an overabundance of torque or power, it means when you're using the car's other trump card, i.e. the fantastic handling, you can really lean on it without fear that the back end is suddenly going to break away on you. It's chucking it down today, but this car doesn't intimidate me at all. Now, I know I own the Evora and the Elise in that, but they are genuinely very different cars. This is not quite like either of those. And on track, I can see why people love these things. It's pretty mega. In a lot of ways, this could be seen as better value than the Elise. An Elise is, as we've seen on this channel, easily specified to about £50,000. And for just £10,000 more, you're looking at a car with a lot more firepower, a much more aggressive stance, the look, in my opinion, of a much more serious, much higher end vehicle. And it really has the performance to back up that price tag. 0 to 60, 3.8 seconds. That's seriously quick. There's no two ways about that. And it does that without a fancy flappy paddle gearbox. In fact, that 0 to 60 time puts this car basically neck and neck with the new GT3 with a manual box. The PDK box is apparently worth nearly half a second in the 0 to 60 dash. Of course, if you want the ultimate lap times, I'm sure a 911 GT3 would be quicker than this. I'd certainly hope so. It's double the money. £111,000 plus options. And if you don't want to spend that sort of money, and if you want to deal with a car manufacturer who will happily sell you a car, well, a lot of people are coming to Lotus. And not just from Porsche, from McLaren, from Ferrari, even some from Lamborghini, because I've seen a few of these in some very leery colours and they are pretty good. Overall, how would I sum up this car? Well, I told you that I deliberately never test drove one because I was afraid I would have bought one. Well, I can tell you, I made the right decision because I would have. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe, comment, do all those things that you do. We'll see you soon. Oh, you're still here. Well, as I have your attention, I've been told that around 84% of the people watching my videos haven't subscribed yet. Is that you? If you think you want to subscribe, click this button here, or the one somewhere down here that says subscribe. Or if you're still on the fence and want to watch some more of my content, you'll find suggestions for videos here, here, and here. What are you waiting for? Go on, keep watching.